Schwede, let me put my glasses on. Jeez.
Yeah, why?
I can see.
Now
Now
you
I
can see
talk.
clearly now.
Yes, I can see clearly now. The snow is gone,
Unfortunately, yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah. So like it was weird when I went to bed last night, there was not a lot, but there was more snow on the ground last night when I went to bed than there was when I woke up, which is normally...
It was coming a downpour.
Yeah, but I don't even know how that happened. I don't know how it melted off overnight with no sun or anything.
No sun,
to
temps
do
were
that.
low.
Like I don't know where it went.
The only thing I can credit it to would be the fact that the ground was probably still a little warm.
Yeah, I mean,
because we've had some warmer days, and then it was also pretty soggy too. It was a soggy snow.
That's fair. But like we went to bed and we're like, oh, Reese is gonna be excited.
Oh, stoke levels were way up.
Reese
at my
is gonna
house.
be excited. And then we wake up and I'm like, oh shoot, where did the snow go?
I did enjoy that 2-hour delay though.
Yeah.
I did enjoy that. And I know the kids enjoyed it. We got some extra time with them this AM.
We got out and enjoyed the half centimeter of snow that we did have. Reese was excited to get out there. Very disappointed to learn that she did not, in fact, have enough snow on the ground to build a no man.
Yeah, no mans today.
There were no mans today.
Yeah, absolutely no mans to be built.
So hopefully one day we'll get.
But it's a sign of what's to come.
Hopefully, I hope we get some snow this winter.
Listen, the
we got none last year.
No, the Dadburn Mountains this morning though, phenomenal, gorgeous.
So I was driving in,
mixing with the color of fall. It's like clashes.
I was driving in, and I hated the fact that I did not have my zoom lens.
Same.
Because there was this perfect composition.
Mm-hmm.
And by perfect, I literally mean perfect. We had a mix of seasons because on the bottom of the mountain, there's still some fall foliage, and we had snow capped up top. Mm-hmm. But the way that the light was peeking through the clouds,
hitting little spots.
It
on
was
the mountains.
only hitting the color side, so you had this kind of like cooler, more dark,
Mixed
deep,
with the
ominous snow in the background with the beautiful fall foliage being illuminated. And unfortunately, the only thing I had on me was my little Fuji with a 23 mil, which is not a 7200.
I'll tell you what else is not a 7200, and that is one singular shot of Kodak Gold in a 6x6 Rolleiflex.
No,
which is what I pulled over
at 53 mil.
Right at
something
50
like that.
Some mil. I pulled over in Ben McInturf's business parking lot. Shout out McInturf and McInturf Rock Hauling.
On the Chucky Pike.
I pulled over in that driveway and fired off my last shot at gold because I saw that same scene.
Yeah.
It probably won't turn out, but I have a very eloquent caption if it does. So stay tuned. Who knows?
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, well.
You may see it on the gram. You may not. It may be crap.
Hey, so that brings me to something that I didn't mean to mention.
Yeah.
But we're here talking about things that may or may not happen.
Yeah, might as
and you
well.
shot it with potential intention of posting it.
Yeah.
You've even got a caption.
I've got the caption already dialed up.
Already ready.
Yeah.
My camera roll is full of photos that
probably will never see the light of day.
But I took,
yeah.
spent time editing, processing all those things with the intent of posting it to social media. And why they have not been posted to social media, I can only say the only reason it's not is because in order to post them all, I would have to post multiple times per day.
Yeah.
Which I do get to post once a day.
Well, this is why over on the TikTok specifically, I've been doing photo carousels because I've had that same issue of, I've got all these beautiful edited images, but I'm just freaking lazy and don't post them on a daily basis. So might as well post 5 at a time in a carousel.
Yeah, well, I mean,
you can even do that on Instagram. Instagram now, because we've changed the algorithm again, they're rewarding carousels.
Ooh.
There's your social media hot hack tip of the day.
I'm currently still being
free. You're still TikTok viral, so you don't care about Instagram.
Instagram, I'm still being rewarded for a particular reel that I'm really not sure why it has taken off. It's just
Is it the white balance one?
No, it's setting your white and your black points.
Yeah, that's the one.
With the Alter Option key.
Why would that not be viral? That's my
because
question.
I thought it was something that everybody knew already. I was like, I'm going to share this, but I'm sure I'm going to get people saying, Dude, well, I've been doing this for 10 years. I
You
know
know-
that. I know that trick.
I'd say to that post, why not? Why not that post?
I mean, it has 31K views. That's
pretty
on
phenomenal.
Instagram.
Not to count like the 700 bajillion that you have over on TikTok from it.
TikTok, that one is my most watched TikTok
saying.
video.
You're
Again,
viral. You're viral.
don't understand. Anyways,
Virality.
but yeah. So why do I take all these pictures with the intent of sharing it to social media and then it never makes it social media? Don't know.
I don't know, probably for the same reason that I spend, whatever amount of dollars on a roll of film, shoot the roll of film, develop the roll of film, scan the roll of film, and then it doesn't see the light of day.
If I do that, it's probably because the photos just didn't turn out.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's that too.
Yeah.
There's that too.
Because film does have that
It does have that
potential,
possibility.
especially with me at the helm. I'll go ahead and tell you. I'm not going to, that's another story for another day.
A fun story,
It's
nonetheless.
not fun at all.
But we've all done it.
But yeah, instant feedback. Not something you normally get with film, but I have found a way to do that, and I'll talk about that later. But today, I was disappointed that I did not have my zoom lens, so much to the point that if the temperatures don't change, I may try and capture that photo tomorrow.
That beautiful,
May try and
beautiful
capture that
image.
tomorrow with the appropriate lens.
So speaking of things clashing, seasons clashing, colors clashing, one thing in my past that has clashed has been my energy and focus levels in relation to my caffeine consumption.
Clash from the past.
Clash from the past, we'll call it.
See that?
As a longtime friend / business partner, I've struggled with my caffeine habit in the past, upwards of up to 1,500 milligrams a day at times.
Dang.
Yeah, just to feel normal. I think the daily recommended is no more than 500.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
3X.
dealt with some afternoon energy drink cravings, some massive crashes, which is why whenever our friends over at MagicMind reached out with their mental performance shot, I had to give it a try.
Yeah.
I was at rock bottom with caffeine consumption.
Or on the top, however you want to look at it.
Or at the top, however you want to look at it. But I did. I wanted to try their mental performance shot, and I have been absolutely astounded at the difference that it's made in my focus, my energy levels, my ability to hold a conversation and not just totally be tired and brain fogged out.
That's helpful.
Thanks to the shot. Now, this is not a replacement by any means. This is designed to be a supplementation to your normal daily caffeine consumption. But with me, I was able to reduce.
That's nice.
No longer feel the need for that afternoon energy drink.
That's healthy, actually.
Absolutely. Absolutely. My heart is thanking me. I'm more focused. I'm more present with my family, more present during our conversations. And folks, MagicMind has been kind enough to provide a discount code for you. That is Motion20 for up to 48% off of your MagicMind subscription.
Ooh, a subscription.
Yeah. One thing cool with the subscription, they ship it straight to your door. And at any point in time, if you want to cancel that subscription, there are no questions asked. You can do that, and you are good to go. So
nice.
Yeah, MagicMind. Thank you guys. And matter of fact, I think I'm gonna
get it shipped to your door.
Yeah, I'm gonna dial one up right now. I actually got a text message yesterday saying my new shipment was on its way.
Nice. It's like a subscribe and save situation.
Yeah, subscribe and save. Boom. Yeah, I think actually with the subscription model, it reduces the cost down to just under or right at $3 a bottle.
Nice.
Yeah. Give it a whirl. Meat and taters, Jared. Get us the meat and taters.
Yeah. Actually, it's an interesting thing that I see asked on social media a lot, and just in general get asked a lot. And it's a question that I myself have asked at various times, but it's basically what is the difference between a zoom lens and a prime lens? Why would you do one over the other? So basically today we're going to talk about zoom lenses versus prime lenses.
Ooh, juicy.
Which is fun.
Maybe get a battle going in the comments below. I've been waiting for a good battle.
This is a bit polarizing.
This is polarizing.
On who you talk to. We'll just start with zooms. Because generally when you purchase a camera, it's going to come with a kit lens, which is going to be a zoom. So you're not going to come as a shock to you that the zoom lens is super versatile.
Right.
Even a kit lens, at least from a focal length perspective, super versatile.
Yes.
I mean, it's multiple focal lengths.
Most of your kit lenses are like an 18 to 55, or I know some of them are even like a 55 to 200. Well, you've got a lot of different lenses within that one barrel.
So you've got just massive versatility. Like you could go 24 to 105, which is generally an f4. which isn't that fast, but it's at least constant throughout, which is going to be an improvement from your variable aperture. But I have a 24-70, and I bought it really early in my career, and I've taken care of it, and I still use it.
Yeah, it stood the test of time.
Constantly today. So lenses are great investments, period. But that 24-70 on it, it's really cool because with the Canon 24-70 that I have, it has a 24 marking, a 28 millimeter marking,
35,
a 35, 50, and a 70. So that's 5 lenses within one. Well, that's it. That's marked. Not counting all the ones.
Right, not all your in-between focal
lengths. Your 53 millimeter or whatever.
40.
But all of those are already marked on there because they're common focal lengths. And you have all of that in one lens.
Yeah.
So being able to cover from 24 millimeters, which is pretty wide, all the way to 70 millimeters, which is starting to touch to telephoto lens.
Got some versatility there.
Super versatile. Super versatile. Very versatile.
So with and specifically too with the 24-70, one thing that I love about that specific lens is a lot of those are stabilized. A lot of your kit lenses are, your 24-70s are, your 24-105s. So that's another thing with variable or with zoom lenses is a lot of them are stabilized, and all that means is it's going to reduce some camera shake as you're out there shooting. So if you're at slower shutter speeds, lower light, things like that, it's going to keep that image steady so that you reduce the chances of having a blurred image.
Yeah. Well, so I guess one of the cons of a zoom lens is they're pretty costly.
They are costly,
even on the used market.
On the upfront.
But if you break it down, what it would cost you to buy all of those primes, even just those 5 primes.
I was going to say the value proposition, though. I don't think it's a con.
Well, again, right off the bat, it's expensive.
Upfront cost, for sure.
It's an expensive cost. Like you could get couple primes in some cases for the price of one of those zoom lenses. But if you tried to buy all 5 of those focal lengths,
you're going to be way over the market,
way in excess. So they are costly up front, but value proposition again, just with the versatility and all of the focal lengths. I'm terrible at math, but whatever 70 minus 24 is, how many focal lengths is that?
That 70 minus 24 is
Somebody
45.
Help us out. 45 potential lenses.
Yeah,
basically, is what you have with one.
Yeah.
So you don't have to change the lens, and you've got
all those focal lengths. And really, again, if we're talking about exceptional math here, let's say that you bought those 5 prime lenses, even on the used market, at an average cost of let's say $700. Per prime. If you're getting quality, if you're getting quality primes, we'll say $700 times 5. That's $3,500.
Yeah.
That you would have to spend versus getting a used 24-70 or 24-105.
I bought my Canon, which is the version 2 EF. There's 3 EF versions, and now even in the RF line, that's more expensive. But my version 2 Canon EF 24-70 f 2.8, I bought used from KH for, I want to say it was like $1,200 or $1,300, something like that.
I got my 24-70 Tamron, which is the Tamron version of your lens. I got it for $800 on KH.
There you go. So, I mean, it's
value proposition on a zoom is out the roof.
It is. Now, another con to it is slower.
Yeah, aperture-wise.
It is generally going to be slower versus your primes. Like, until very recently, Canon now has an RF version that is an f2. They were mostly as fast as possible with an f2.8. Which is pretty fast, especially if you're coming from a kit lens perspective.
Yeah, both our 24-70s are 2.8.
F2.8 is pretty fast compared to the 3.5 to 5.6. But you can get primes that are 1.2, 1.4, 1.0 even. I've seen a few.
Yeah, and for anyone who's new, we're talking on aperture here. So like how wide your lens opens up the iris in the middle. Think of it as the eyeball.
Which lets more light to the sensor.
Right.
That also controls what's in focus. That's
faster just means it lets in more light.
Yes.
Whenever we're talking about that.
So they are generally slower compared to their prime counterparts.
Yeah.
Which may not be the end of the world, but know that, f2.8 is not f1.4.
Correct. Well, and specifically when you're getting into like a quality zoom, I think one of the big advantages, if you're thinking, well, I've got a kit lens that's a zoom, one of your big advantages with a quality zoom is it is going to be a fixed aperture. So if you've ever taken notice, if you're zooming in on a kit lens and as you zoom in, your image starts to get darker.
Right.
That's because those lenses, as you zoom, they close the aperture.
Yep.
Okay, but with a quality zoom like a 24-70 f2.8,
Yeah.
they're going to stay at 2.8 throughout the whole zoom range.
Yes.
So you're going to keep the same amount of light hitting the sensor. It's not going to darken your image any.
Right.
So just some things to think about if you are wanting to even upgrade from a zoom to a higher quality zoom.
Yeah.
They're going to be fixed aperture.
Yeah, most of your kit lenses, for whatever reason, there's probably a mechanical reason, but
Yeah, I think it's just an
they're
element.
3.5 to 5.6. They vary. They're 3.5 on the wide end.
Yeah.
And on the tight end, they're all the way into 5.6.
Yeah.
Versus an f2.8, which is f2.8 at 24 millimeters, and it's also f2.8 at 70 millimeters. So like you don't
keep the
have
same amount of light.
Yeah, it's very handy and definitely an improvement if you're coming from a kit lens.
Yes.
The other con, if weight is a problem, zoom lenses are generally decently sized.
Well, they have so many
they're
glass
kinda heavy.
elements in them. Yeah, they have way more glass elements in them.
They're kind of heavy compared to a prime lens.
Yeah, especially if you get like an old school like 70 to 200 that are all metal construction. They're about 3 feet long.
Yeah. So they're physically going to be bigger and they're physically going to weigh more in most cases. So if weight is a problem for you, you don't want to be lugging around a heavy lens, or don't want to hold a lens that heavy all the time. Note that zoom lenses are generally heavier.
Yeah, they're just gonna have more weight to them.
But I mean, the versatility of them literally is unmatched.
It's unmatched.
So like, depending on what you're doing, zoom lenses may be the call. But
sure.
also primes may be the call.
Yeah.
So like, pros of a prime lens, and what a prime lens means is, if you don't know what this means, it basically means that it is a fixed focal length.
It's one focal length.
One focal length.
Does not zoom.
This lens is a 35 millimeter period. Does not zoom, does not change. It's 35. They are generally sharper.
Yeah.
They're generally sharper. Because they don't have moving parts.
Right.
They're generally sharper.
They have fixed glass elements.
They're typically sharper, and they're typically faster.
Yeah.
On that note as well. And we've talked about that kind of with the zoom lenses, but like I have an 85, and it's an old EF mount, but I have an 85 1.8.
Yep.
I have a 50 1.4.
Yep.
And I have a Sigma Art 35 1.4.
Yeah.
The fastest zoom lens I have is an f2.8. So I've got 3 lenses right there in my bag
that are already a stop.
That are already a whole stop of light faster than the zoom lens.
Well, and as you get into your more premium primes too, you go all the way down to f1.2. Some of them are f.95. So like, so much light is let in at that point in time. The only thing to be cautious of there is that yes, they are sharper.
Yeah.
But harder to acquire focus.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to be really good at nailing your focus, and whether that's through having good autofocus, being good with your servo points, whatever. Focal plane certainly small at 1.2.
Yeah, that's what we call shallow depth of field. That's what gives you that beautiful creamy bokeh in the background that everybody loves. They love to blow out their backgrounds.
So they're sharper and they're faster. And because of them being fixed focal lengths, they're generally lighter.
Yeah.
They're usually smaller.
Well,
and
again,
lighter.
there's less glass elements in them.
Yeah, and I wish I had brought my two. Like I could have brought a 35 and a 24-70 and physically shown you the different sizes, but they're generally smaller.
Yeah.
So if size is an issue or if weight is an issue, maybe at that point you're considering prime lenses as your in your kit. Now on to the cons of a prime, because it is a fixed focal length. Literally the only way for you to change your composition is to do one of two things. You can either swap lenses.
Yep. Go to a longer lens or a shorter lens,
or
what you want to do.
You move your feet.
Yeah, you are the zoom at that point in time.
Whereas right here at 24-70, I could shoot you without moving my body and feet at
all kinds of different focal lengths.
Yeah, how many?
Whatever you want to do.
40 something?
45.
45 focal lengths versus if I have a 35 on here, I can't shoot a different photo unless I move.
Right.
Or change lenses. So,
hang on a second. You said 70 minus 24, right?
Yes.
Yeah, 46.
46.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Not 45.
So 24-70 is 46 potential focal lengths.
Yeah, there we go.
And we'll talk about the in-between focal lengths at the tail end of this video when we kind of help you with the decision that you may be having to make. But The prime or the con of a prime literally is the only way to change your composition
Yeah, you're limited to your movement.
or changing the
Or
lens.
changing lenses,
which
yeah.
in some cases you physically may not have time.
Right.
You may not have time in a crucial moment of sorts.
Yeah, if you're shooting weddings or if you're like a run and gun documentarian photographer, like you may not have time to make that switch because things are happening that you have to capture right then. You can't say, wait. Let me
So you
switch
either
lenses.
carry two bodies with two different lenses or you move your feet.
Yeah.
So on the con side of things, what this may mean in some cases is if you have a 50, which 50 is my favorite focal length
I
for
love 50.
anyone wondering, it's a 50. But
Close second would probably be 40.
yes. Actually, a perfect lens for me would probably be like a 43 or a 45. But
All right, Mr. Leica.
hey, it's a fun focal length. Anyways, let's say I have a 50 on the front of my lens or on the front of my camera. The 50 is the lens.
Yeah.
I have a 50 on my camera and I'm in a scenario where I need to get wider to fit all of the subject in the frame, whatever the subject is. But I'm at the back of the wall.
Oof.
I physically cannot back up
You're in
any
trouble.
further.
You're in TRUBL trouble.
Yes, 50 is. I mean, that's the con potentially of a zoom, and that sometimes does present itself. Yes, of a prime lens. Sorry, excuse me. However, if I had my 24-70
just
and I had been at 50 most of that day because I like to live there,
Retract it a little
all
bit.
I do is back out to
Whatever.
any focal length.
All the way back to 24.
So that's really the only con I could say to primes is they're not as versatile.
They're not as versatile.
Speedy with workflow purposes.
Well, and again, too, when we talk about features, most of your primes are not going to be stabilized either.
No, that's true.
So that's one thing to consider. Again, with it being faster, if you are shooting wide open and you're already worried about acquiring focus, just understand you're probably going to induce a whole lot more camera shake because it's not stabilized, especially at longer focal lengths. The longer you go on the focal length, 50, 70, 85, 135, you're going to have more camera shake because you just physically can't hold it still enough.
85 is a very common focal length for portraits and stuff like that. So that's a good one to think about. And that's pretty long. Yeah. You depending upon your shutter, can definitely impact sharpness of that photo at 85 millimeters. Yeah, it's less of an issue with wider lenses.
Yeah, wide lenses, not a lot of camera shake. Your 24s, your 35s, heck, even 40 and 50 typically can be held pretty steady. But as soon as you start hitting 70, it gets a little harder to hold them as steady unless you're just like a dead burn statue.
Well, but stabilized lenses, especially coupled with some halfway decent IBIS, which is in-body image stabilization that cameras have, you can have a whole stop and sometimes more of stabilization to aid in, letting the appropriate amount of luminance hit the sensor. So that's something to also think about. Primes, I don't know that I've ever seen a prime that's stabilized.
I don't think there is one.
I mean, there may be, but
I know obviously the bodies are like our Lumix bodies are stabilized.
Sure.
So like that happens, but I don't know of any prime lenses that are. Maybe somebody could put one in the comments below if you know of it.
That'd be cool.
Because I don't.
That'd be cool.
That would be cool.
But all this came about because literally this week or last week, a few days ago, whenever it was, someone posed the question of zooms versus primes.
Yeah, in the POG group.
And they were specifically wanting to know, like, hey, if you like primes, what are your favorite focal lengths and why? And I think that's a decent question to be asking, but
for sure.
I also think that it may be the wrong question to be asking. And the reason why I say that is because my favorite shoe and size
may differ from mine.
Well, it's probably not going to fit your foot.
Well, what's funny though is specifically in the group, everybody chimes in with, well, this is the one that stays on the front of my camera. This is the one. And it's like, well, again, that's good for your situation.
Yeah.
But I think there's something, and Jared, you actually have a YouTube video on this specific subject, which I would lead people to because I think it's a great video. But you have a very good tip on how to discover what your focal length may be.
Yeah, and it's simple. I mean, it really is. It's going to take some time, but I also think that it's more important to find a shoe that fits your foot.
Yes, Cinderella.
I.e., a lens that fits your style and your natural eye for composition,
or four lenses. I mean, whatever your
whatever it is. But like, if
whatever you can swing.
If you're someone who's looking to buy a lens and you're stuck on a zoom versus a prime, maybe you want to go prime to save the weight, potentially save a little bit of money, all those things, but you're not sure what focal length to get.
Right.
I think what you should do is you can rent one for cheaper if you go a 24 to 105. Yep. If not, rent a 24 to 70 or heck, borrow it from another photographer. Yep. And don't worry at all about the focal length.
Right. Just shoot.
Just go shoot.
Yep.
Just go shoot. And shoot the way that you would shoot. Yep. And do multiple sessions. Shoot whatever style you shoot. Yep. I mean, I'm seriously, don't worry whatsoever about what focal length you're landing at.
Right.
Because that comes after. Shoot 3 or 4 sessions, whatever. Mm-hmm. Then take all those photos into Lightroom. Mm-hmm. And through the metadata, I believe if you hit I on your keyboard twice, the first one's going to be like date and time, but you're going to get the metadata of shutter speed, your aperture, and millimeters. Your focal length. This is where it comes into this exercise becomes really helpful. Just note, go through, pick your favorite images. Yeah. Go through, pick your favorite images. Note what focal lengths you landed at with that particular lens.
That is a great tip.
Well, and it may not be 50 on the nose. It may not be 35 on the nose. But if you land at 37 millimeters, that's a point in the 35 millimeter bucket. You're going to start to, hopefully, maybe you may not.
We'll use our 3rd grade math skills here.
You may start to see a specific focal length sort of rise to the top.
She shines through.
It's like, I spent a lot of time at 48 millimeters, 53 millimeters. 50 may be my move. 50 is the way that my eye sees.
If you're like me, I spent a lot of time at that 105. I might.
you may need to get a longer lens. But all that to say, if you look at your photos and the ones that you enjoy, those are going to be the ones that you felt the most natural with anyway. The way I compose an image is different than some people. Mm-hmm. For instance, I have to challenge myself to shoot, especially horizontally, with like 24 mil. Yeah. Because I really struggle to simplify a scene with a wide millimeter lens.
Yeah, most people do.
And isolate the subject.
Yeah,
some people are great at it. Like
Popsis.
Yes, they're great. They're great at it. Peter McKinnon exclusively used the 24 mil for years.
He used it for portraits, which was
wild.
Yeah.
I find that I can compose images the way that I prefer, the easiest with a 50 mil. Yeah. But I know that because
you've spent enough time shooting.
I've spent enough time and even with my 24 to 70, I will find myself frequently in the metadata 47 mil, 48 mil, 52 mil, like hovering around that 50 mil. That's just where I like to be in relation to distance to my subject, all those things. So if you do that exercise and you really want a prime lens, that should help you isolate which one and most people are going to be fine with like a 35 or a 50. Those are the two common ones. But if a 50 fits your workflow,
rock it.
Buy the 50.
Rock it.
Buy the 50. 50 is a great focal length.
Yes.
50 is a great focal length. It can be wide and inclusive.
Wide enough.
But it can also be tight with minimal to zero distortion.
Yep.
So anyways, that's my favorite focal length. And that's how I have learned that I prefer 50.
Yeah. And I think that tip really helps too, because if you have somebody who is so on the fence about what to buy, they may discover like, hey, I land on a couple different focal lengths primarily, in which case you might want that zoom.
You may want that 24 to 70.
So it may answer the question. I think actually that will answer your question fairly speedily if you are wondering, well, gosh, which should I get?
If you liked 100 of the photos total from that set and you don't have a clear-cut winner, then you know what? Yeah, buy the zoom lens. Because here's the thing. I constantly use my 24 to 70 for professional work.
Yep.
Sometimes I take a prime out. But I also love, again, the versatility that a zoom lens offers.
Yeah.
With speed of workflow. I mean, I've got tons of other lenses, but the downfall is I've literally got to change the lens in order to use a different lens.
Well, and I think you and I have both mentioned in the past that the 24 to 70 specifically is the jack of all trades.
I would call it the master of none.
Master of none. But I can take that lens into any situation.
Video
and get whatever I want.
Photo, video, whatever. I actually remember I don't know if you remember this or not, but when you were looking at purchasing a lens, you were really heavily influenced, and this was current YouTube state. Vlogging was huge. Casey Neistat, Peter McKinnon, they had first blown up.
I wanted the 16 to 35.
You wanted the 16 to 35, which is wide. Yeah. Really wide. Great for vlogging.
Yeah, and looking back on that in my wisdom now, I would have hated that lens because I spend almost no time that wide.
No.
Unless I'm actually walking around vlogging.
Your preference is certainly tighter compositions, but I remember...
Well, and even just longer focal lengths, period. I like having a little more compression typically.
Yeah. Well, I remember you mentioning the 16 to 35. I was like, I don't know, dude. The 24 to 70, certainly not as wide, but
it has almost all those.
Has almost all those.
Plus some.
And so, yeah, you ended up with the Tamron 24 to 70 second hand. And
still have it.
Still using
still
it today.
Love it.
So, again, it also kind of depends on the application and what you want to do. So. If you have any desire to shoot sports, I would not buy a prime lens.
No.
Not to shoot sports.
No.
Now, if you want to shoot portraits on the side, sure, get you a prime lens if that's what you want. But
if you're in game,
the versatility,
you need a zoom.
And the speed at which you can change compositions and focal lengths, you need a zoom lens. Now, if you're a portrait photographer, again, do that exercise, figure out which focal length you prefer to work at. And
if you're a portrait photographer in studio, like, we can go ahead and take a wild guess as to why 85 is going to be your favorite.
Yeah.
Because it's like the portrait lens of portrait lenses.
But yeah, if you're stuck on the fence of trying to figure out why you should buy a zoom or a prime, I really think that exercise can help anybody. And again, you can do it for free.
Try it before you buy.
Yeah, try it before you buy. If you've got a photographer that you look up to that owns a 24 to 70, see if they'll let you have it for a weekend.
Yeah.
And then literally go shoot a bunch of things.
And then see what you like.
And see which one you like. See which focal lengths you land at.
I think that would help tremendously. I think all these tips are things that would be good to consider in making your decision. Certainly helpful. There are also, Jared, some things that our audience can do.
Yeah.
That would be helpful for us. What are those?
Leave us a review.
Yes.
On any of the platforms.
Ratings and reviews.
Give us a rating.
Stars and bars, as we say.
Listen, you can't fix what you don't know is broken.
Right.
So if we're broken, let us know.
Let us know in the comments. Let us snow.
Ooh. Nice.
Hey, also, I want to know in the comments below because I'm waiting for a battle to break out in the comments. I think that would be hilarious. I want to know what your favorite focal length is and why.
Yeah.
Also, I want to know if you're a primer or a zoomer and why.
Yeah. I would love to know that as well.
Let us know all those things.
It was interesting. I would dare say the clear-cut winner in that particular group's comment section
3514
was the 35. But there's an asterisk there.
Yeah.
They're all portrait photographers.
I was going to say, you've got Bonnie and Melissa in there who I know that 35 stays on the front of their bodies. Like, it just
that's
is
great.
what it is. Yeah.
And here's the thing, like you can, just to quickly recap, you can make any lens like work for you.
Yeah, you can make it do what you want to.
But if it's not natural for you, like if you struggle, like I could be a portrait photographer at 24 mil.
Yeah.
Like it can take portraits.
Yeah, you're just going to be up in their nose with the camera.
And it's also not my preferred, like
your look
way of looking at the world, all of those things. So like if there's friction there,
don't do it.
Then don't do it.
Don't do it.
So again, maybe you're that 85 person who can I can shoot everything on 85.
Yeah, might as well. But I want to know those things. Leave them in the comments below. Also, don't forget to check out MagicMind.
Yes.
For your subscription of the Mental Performance Shot.
Nice.
Your discount code MOTION20 for up to 48% off.
Get you some money back.
And with that, Jared, here is the hard part.
Yeah. I'm going to go have some chili. We'll see y'all later.
Oh, he didn't make that hard at all. See y'all.